good evening, and welcome to the Monday Night Plastic Crack Podcast, season freaking hell 4.
Four.
Jeez, episode 2. Welcome. Oh, blimey, we're all moving around again. Good.
We're not who we are. There we go.
Oh, we are. No, we're not.
It's like the world's shittest Rubik cube. There we go.
What? There we go.
I am Steve.
Oh, everyone comes here for the professionalism, obviously.
Oh, gosh. Seamless.
So welcome to everybody. Thanks to everyone watching on the catch-up. I'll get them before I forget about it later on. How are we doing, gentlemen? Everyone happy?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've enjoyed lots of time not being at work. It's been great.
Oh dear.
We've had a snow. We've had a snow warning here. It's meant to be snowing right about now, and I'm
north. You're up north, isn't it?
The thing is, though, it's not been for me though. It's terrible because it's 13 years ago this month that I fell over and broke my arms. So it's still.
I'm sorry, I still can't stop laughing at that story. I'm sorry.
whenever I get a warning of snow and ice in January, I have like flashbacks to 6.5 weeks off work with 2 busted arms. Apart from that, no, I'm doing very, very well.
How about you, Martin? You feeling a little bit brighter?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I feel a little bit better, and then there's some after effects which the doctor has told me about. Which I'm off. Well, I'm not off work. I'm not allowed outside to play. Which is upsetting me a little bit because we've got a really nice site with some amazing finds, and it's upsetting me that I can't go and dig them up, and I don't think it's fair. So yeah,
I think that's funny. It's annoying you.
Yeah. Do you know what's really funny is when people fall down holes with tarps placed over the top of them because just saying.
No, I'll tell you what's really funny is Miller's comment there. Beard looking really strong, Ken. What kind of beard
I just can't be asked to shave. That's all it is. That's what kind of beard it is. Just can't be bothered to have a shave.
Oh my god. That just reminds me of that, really. That's all I'm saying.
That was amazing.
Dear. Welcome everybody. Sorry, we'll start with the normal stupidity, but oh god, my goodness, man, I was going to go back through the chat, but heck, there's a lot of people commenting there. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining. I think I saw Don saying that it's even a public holiday or something, a holiday in America. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
What day is it in the States? Oh, okay.
I don't know. I'm sure I saw he said it was a holiday. Anyway, let's get started. I'll tell you what I'm going to start with is kind of a bit of a seriousy thing. So just really wanted to get this out in the way before we get going. And I'm sure the guys will chip in with me as well. Just a bit of frustration on our end, I guess. Some of the comments and some of the things that are being said in the chats and on the Facebook posts and and even some of the videos that are going up just around some of the sort of a bit snidey sort of comments around things that people are putting up, and it's a bit disappointing really, because when we started up this channel it was just us 4 being stupid talking about rubbish on a Monday night, and but it was always the community is always been so positive and so friendly and supportive of each other. There's been a bit of a trend lately of people getting a bit arsey about things they don't particularly like, and it's a shame, and I hope that people can grow up a bit on it, because at the end of the day, any tabletop game is fair game for Plastic Crack.
Absolutely.
We cover everything,
especially 28.
I was going to say everything apart from plant based, but no, even that is acceptable.
No, you may not always see the comments because obviously we moderate them as they come through, but we'll sort them out sometimes before they even get viewed. But yeah, there was just some which just don't really need to be. It's just a bit, I don't know, pointless. Just gonna cause aggro for the sake of it. Don't know.
We're not that type of community. We're the type of community where everyone's welcome. And if you want to, I'm going to put it quite bluntly, if you want to be snidey and things like that, be horrible to people, well, you're not part of this community, really. That's not what we want, is it, guys? Really, that's not what we want. We don't want that. We want people to be able to be friendly here, don't we? Yeah, everyone to be welcome.
Yeah, we do. We don't want anyone to feel that they can't show off what they're working on, doing what they're doing, however strange it may be. So yeah, please tone it down a bit, please. Just
ease up on Steve. Ease up on Steve.
Oh no, we go for Steve all the way.
I'm feeling picked on here, Dom. I'm feeling picked on just because you can't enjoy root-based war game tomfoolery. Speaking of which, did anyone see Matt's comment there in the Facebook group about a giant vegetable-shaped god being worshipped in Leicester?
Yes.
What? I have not seen this.
Yes.
What? A giant vegetable being worshipped?
A vegetable like God being worshipped in Leicester. I didn't go into
the
full
story. Wait, say that again. Say that again. A
giant vegetable god.
Right. Ooh.
Something's
come along to kick Gary Lineker off of his throne because in Leicester, when I went to university in Leicester, like there was like pictures of Gary Lineker like every other house, like. And always with a pack of walkers because the walkers flingers.
Yeah,
anyway.
Of course.
So, what's it look like? This god, or is it?
I don't know. It was just a picture. I didn't put it into my search engine in case I had like a visit from the special squad or something, or the Vatican.
How do I become a priest of this cult?
The same way you became a priest of your current cult. You just go on the internet and type it.
Send off a check.
Yeah. And invest heavily in Tufts.
And they'll send you a big link.
This is much nicer than last week. This is much better than last week.
Well done. Anyway, it apparently is Martin Luther King Day.
Yes. I saw it on Twitter this morning.
I didn't realise that, but, well, for those celebrating that, commemorating that, enjoy. Right, let's go back around the table and see what everyone's been working on. Ken, you've been busy. What have you been up to, mate?
And trains.
You know when I said anything goes on this channel?
I've actually started doing some scenery, so that was quite fun. I've been getting dirty with the sculpt mold, and I've just been picking up not sanguineous but sanguineous, and just playing, like just touching him up a little bit and working out what I'm going to do next. How I'm going to do this cheetah's skin coat thing, I have no idea.
I think Duncan Rhodes might have done some videos on that. And I know he put up like a whole video just on how to do wings. I might have to watch that. So yes, I've just been mucking about that, but I'm also painting up this Space Marine land speeder at the moment for Blood Angels.
Oh,
yes,
cool.
Roll on second edition.
You're slipping straight back into it again, aren't you? It's brilliant.
That was speaking of second edition, Ken, that was quite a bargain that you got there.
Oh yeah, I got my bargain as well.
Of course you did.
Of course you got a bargain.
Where are they? What have I done with them?
I laugh if he's lost it.
No shit. No, that's a serious thing. Where have I put them?
I laugh if Laura's like taking them away somewhere.
Oh, they're over there. They are.
You definitely got a bargain because when I put it on eBay, I got 50 quid.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's why I like Facebook Marketplace. £5 for the original second edition rulebook and the war gear, but brand new.
That is phenomenally good.
Yes, it was. I said, "Where are you? I'll come and get it right now." Don't go on the internet. Don't do any searching.
Don't do any research on eBay because you've got a deal, you've got a sale right there.
Yeah. Don't look on eBay.
Good point, Paul.
Very good point.
Isn't that?
Yes.
Hang on, that's a Slaneshi thing, isn't it? That's what Slaneshi.
It is. I'm not doing the Emperor's Children. Literally.
Oh shit.
Awesome. And we had a game as well, Ken, on Friday at the club.
We did, and you were very surprised.
What, that you turned up? Yeah.
One, I turned up. Two, my performance.
Yeah, I have to say, credit where credit's due. Ken did actually manage to smash a victory. He was absolutely stunning what he did. Mind you, I'm not sure what he was playing up at one point. We were all thinking, what the hell is he doing? And then suddenly it all just, he went gung ho, went straight through the middle. It was a refight of a scenario where the Brunswickers having to break out of Brunswick in 1809. And he punched through the middle of the French line. We played French rather than Westphalians because we didn't have any Westphalians, and he punched through the middle of it. Did really, really well. So good on you.
Yeah.
So you weren't playing Monopoly then?
No. Funny enough, no. I wasn't even playing. I was umpiring. It was great.
Yeah, he was umpiring. Yeah.
How did you do it umpiring? Did you go mad with power, or were you fair?
I was level-headed and fair. I gave everybody the benefit of doubts, so it was all fine. Yeah, and because there weren't any Brits on the table, I wasn't bothered who won really, so it was all good.
You didn't have anything in the game. That's right.
I didn't have any skin in the game, so it was all fine. Although some of my cleaves came in and got absolutely wiped off the floor before they even got into the battle line. But,
I thought I was going to do really crap in that game. Are you putting a video up about it?
I didn't video
it.
Oh
no, we didn't video it. Did we do? Yeah, no. I thought I was going to do really rubbish.
Hall, so.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to do really rubbish because David, my opponent, if he's listening, because he does listen every now and then. Oh my God, he could roll some 6s and 5s with those dice at the start of the game. I was thinking, I genuinely thought he's got weighted fucking dice there. I genuinely thought that weighted.
The first 10 rolls, he must have rolled the majority 5s and 6s.
11. Every time it was like roll 11, 12.
Yeah, it was extreme.
I was just like, what?
It did cool down a bit in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, thank Christ.
It was a good scenario, though. It was real quality.
I really enjoyed that scenario, Dom. I think it's a really good. I think if someone's learning to play the game and they want to, instead of just having gun lines, and it's a very nice way to get them into it. I think because if you play the Brunswickers the way I did, how you should play them in a melee sort of attack in columns. Yeah, you can have some fun. You don't realise how powerful they are, really. You think, shit, I've only got 2 infantry units, and he's got like 10.
Yeah, it was a lot stronger. Actually, John, you know what? They were Ken was using Crackon dice, and they did roll.
I was using those red Crackon dice. I love those red Crackon dice.
You can have mine if you want.
Yes, please.
Well, do you know what, Steve?
I used mine at Crackon, and they were so bad, Rich wouldn't let them go anywhere near his side of the table.
You're not meant to use them. We were just meant to, flog them. You're not meant to use them yourself.
Well, Ken didn't even bother bringing any dice, so he used mine.
No, I didn't bring any dice.
Mine red dice, and they worked perfectly well for me. Anyway, never mind. So it was a good game. Good game. What about you, Steve? What have you been up to, mate?
I've had a weird week.
What, again?
Is it like Louis Theroux's weird weekend? Steve's weird week.
Why have I had a weird week? So, last week we were talking about second ed, 40k, and I'm currently rereading a Horus Heresy book at the moment. So,
which one are you reading?
I'm reading First Heretic.
Oh right, okay.
About Lorgar and the word bearers.
Yeah, the word bearers. Yeah, that's some culty shit in that.
Yeah, it's like I said in the Facebook group, but every time I read these books, I just want to sit down the Primarchs and just slap them and say, "Listen, grow up. You're not 9 years old." Anyway, I digress. So anyway, and Matthew has been posting his Horus Heresy stuff on the Facebook group. Utterly inspiring. So I gave in and finally purchased this.
Oh, Steve. You've gone down the rabbit hole.
I know.
They're bloody expensive.
They are bleeding expensive. So, before I started putting them together, I bought Betrayal at Calf, years ago when it first came out. No idea why. But I started painting them up as Death Guard, the 2 main characters. So there's the Chaplain and the Praetor. So I thought I'd finish off the Chaplain that I started painting about 2.5 years ago. So I think it's my first Space Marine. I don't know how long. But there we go.
Yeah, he looks well good, Steve.
Thank you.
Mark 4, isn't it?
I like that creamy white. That's really
it's
cool.
nice, isn't it?
It's not something. It's not something I'd normally paint, to be honest.
I like that Death Guard color.
How did you get that color?
That is
it's a bone color in it, Steve.
It was a bone color. I then added a wash, a 50-50 wash of black and brown.
Okay.
And then it was just a case of going and doing sort of 3-4 layers of highlights, and then I added some battle damage to it as well. But it didn't really take me that long to paint. I was quite chuffed. So I've moved on, and tonight I'm painting
a really nice Austrian color, base color.
Yeah, it's. I'm painting the Praetor as well. I don't like, me, I don't like painting light colors.
Did you do the GW one, Steve? Did you use GW paint?
No, I used Army Painter Skeleton Bone.
Skeleton Bone.
Really, really good. It's not overly sort of browny. It's sort of got
exactly the same as that.
Yes, very, 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 very similar.
Yeah, I just haven't gone over a wash yet.
No, I mean, I only used one wash on that, and then with this, I've just been doing sort of layers of highlights. But when I've actually sat down to start building the actual plastic marines, I can't leave kits alone. I can't just build them out of the box. So I dug out all my old Betrayal at Calth stuff because I wanted some sort of old school looking marines. So I built them. Because the one on the left is at the box. So I used my test one. I've got to say, those miniatures go together so well, and there's just the sculpt is crisp, no mold lines, just So the other one, so we've got the sergeant in the middle. His arms are from the Heresy box, but I've added weapons from the Betrayal at Calth box, and then I really wanted the old school missile launcher, like the BB Marines used to have.
I love that.
So I had a spare one from the Betrayal at Calth box, and I built that. So that's what
didn't come in the box, does it, Steve?
No, you don't. You don't get all you get in the box is just largely bolters. And
there's an upgrade, isn't there? There's like an upgrade.
Yeah, you can get an upgrade box. But I thought I wanted to see the bodies are out of scale, so you can't use the legs or the torsos, but the weapons and the heads and the equipment. Beakies. I'm having great fun. These are really, really good to paint. So I'm doing myself a very, very small Death Guard army that I'm going to use. I'm going to use them. I'm not going to play 40k or 30k with them. I'm going to use Xenos Rampant, but I'm getting to paint up.
I played that last week.
It's good, isn't it?
I played that last week. I preferred it to Line Rampant and Dragon Rampant.
Really?
And
Why is it so much better?
I felt that the system just lent itself more to that setting, and with the abilities that they chucked in it, I found myself not caring or getting sort of a bit like, why is it doing that? That's not historical. Because it's in space.
Because it can't
because
be
it's in space.
Okay.
So we had my friend was using my friend Kev, because I bought it for him for Christmas. I bought him the rulebook for Christmas because he's got loads of different sci-fi models. So sorry, Steve, I've just
No. I'm done.
He used his Rebels from Star Wars Legion, and my mate Luke, who ran the Burrows and Badgers game, he used 3 ABC warriors to go and kick the snot out of them, because obviously the unit strength doesn't matter. You can have 5 men, a 5-man squad or a 5-man unit, or 1 man with 5 wounds.
Yep.
So it worked really well. And do you know what? I was sitting there going, I might have to get something like a big, like a Godzilla type, mech or something like that. Maybe some what's that film? Pacific Rim kind of big thing. But yeah, I got to say, I really enjoyed it, and it was actually them playing. I was the one flipping through the rule book trying to work out if we'd done things right or wrong. So I really enjoyed it.
No, it is. I haven't picked up the. Come on, Don. Don, you had a go at me anyway for choosing pre-Istvan Death Guard anyway. So no, I mean, I wanted to do, because like I said on Facebook, Nathaniel Garrow is my favorite 30.
Oh, he's so cool.
He's got his final book is out at the end of the month. The last chapter.
Are you actually serious?
No. Yeah. Yep, it's his last. Well, we don't know what's going to happen to him. The front cover is him and Mortarion going at it. I don't think it's going to go well for him.
No,
Considering Mortarian is a model in 40k.
Yeah. He's just such a great. I mean, there's some really good characters in the 30k book series. A lot of them are just like evil bad guys, though. Like I say, Doctor Evil, the level of badness on them. But occasionally you get Garrow, a character like Garrow, which is brilliant. So that's why I chose sort of loyalist Death Guard, sort of pre-Istvan. Which I'm looking forward to.
There's a World Eater as well who
I have no idea, Alex. I don't speak the language.
Oh, what's it called? It's going to annoy me. But there's a World Eater that joins the Garrow because they turned traitor as well, and I can't remember his name. I know the Ultramarine one was. There was. Yeah, it's just normally the World Eaters though they didn't change. He was one of the only ones because he still had the nails, didn't they, in their head?
Yeah. So. But either way, that's my strange sci-fi week.
Oh, it's a good strange week.
So Robin says, that's interesting because he wasn't very impressed with the other ramparts, which I have to say I'm not particularly impressed with the other ramparts either. So interesting. And then Miller says the same thing. Guys at the club have been suggesting using XR, but to me and me and Matt haven't been keen. I don't know. I've never played it, so I don't know. But it does seem to get really good reviews, and if you guys like it, that's interesting. Really interesting. Mm-hmm. What about you, Martin? Apart from being sickly child, what have you been up to, mate?
I had a busy week. I got stuff done.
You've been at home, that's why.
Yeah, basically, essentially. So let me scroll down. So you started off. You may or may not have seen that I played some Saga against Young Robin. Yeah. So we had that's from. We actually played 2 games. That's from the second game. So it was a lot of fun. So it's my Anglo-Danes against his Vikings. So the first battle report is up on the channel if you want to go and have a look. We do make some mistakes, but the great thing is there's rules now that I've found out about in Saga that I knew nothing about. Like I didn't know about this maneuver thing that we were talking about this before the stream, and that's because in the rule book it's consigned to like 3 sentences in the bottom left-hand corner at the end of the chapter, and like everything else, it is almost like a postscript, and it's not mentioned anywhere else. It's not on the quick reference sheet. It's nowhere else. So we really enjoyed that. That was.
But we know why, Martin, because it's French, and they go.
Dom's views on the Plastic Crack podcast are not representative of everyone on here. So yeah. Anyway, that was a lot of fun. I won't say how it ended, just in case anyone hasn't seen it. But
it was a really good game, actually. I enjoyed it.
You were talking about your dice in your game. Someone commented on it. Did you guys just use defreeze? So yeah, but yeah, that was good. So that was the game. Also, then yes, played Xenos Rampant on the but what have I been working on? So I have finished these. Now I've done 4 bases. Now I'm not putting these up as a complete unit before anyone says that this isn't big enough. Their 4 bases are getting added to the other bases. There we go. Have some those Fjord Warriors. I think they were just Gripping Beast. I think they're just Gripping Beast. Yeah, they are. They're definitely just Gripping Beast. So these are, this is a little sneak peek. Although if you're on the Nevermind Bill Hooks group, you might have seen them from someone else. So these are a new line of miniatures that are going to be coming out. I'm going to be doing a video on. And they're from a German chap. And they're called War Steel miniatures. Now, these are 3D prints. Drink, everybody. And he's going to be he is going to be releasing them a Kickstarter for them, but he sent me the physical models, which I'm getting some more the details about how the Kickstarter is going to run, but I think he's going to be given 2 options, a bit like the Piano Miniatures guy. And so they're 15th. So he's done 15th century. It's a baby pipe block on its own, but when you add it to the pikes you've already got, it's going to be a lot bigger because of course the Perry ones are all at march, the pikes up. Whereas so these ones will nicely go in front. What he's done is he's looked at some of the sort of, it's really weird, but basically he's just looked at some historical paintings and images, and so that's why it might look like some of the pikes are in sort of weirdish poses, like. But what I found was that actually it was quite good at being able to sneak pikes around the outside or in through places. So I've done them up as Burgundians. He's done handgunners and he's done crossbowmen as well. So that's sort of his first wave. There are about 20 different variants. So there's quite a lot. So you got, I think it's like there's each body, and each body's got like loads of different head options, and then it's good. So I finished those. So that there'll be a video coming out in full.
They do look good, Mark. How do they compare to Perry's and things like that?
Okay, so they're a bit more slight and they're slightly taller, but so the Perrys are. I can't believe I'm going to say this. The Perrys look slightly, when you put them side by side, the Perrys look more chunky and a little. I don't want to, when I say cartoony, I don't mean like
you mean
in a bad way. Well, yes, but obviously, but the Perrys are a body scale, so if they do scale in very well, you wouldn't notice if you put them all together. Let me put it that way. So yeah, no, they're all right. The thing is, at the moment, because the range consists of crossbows, handguns, and pikes, I can't really see a situation where you'd be putting them together. But hopefully, he's going to expand it. He's self-taught as well, and he's only been sculpting for about 1.5 years. So
I have to say, when you showed me them unpainted, I thought they looked kind of lanky, quite thin looking, but they do look good en masse. I have to say
they do. They do. And they were they're a lot of fun to work on. So I finished. So I did those. So there's a load of those, and then I if you remember, I was working on that night last week. So I finished 6 of them now. So
that's lovely.
There we go. So that's a small unit of knights. However, I've got one more base to do, but I'm doing another video. I'm doing a video on that. So they're anyway, but obviously they're completely useful.
Shields are really good, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are. There you go. There's a better view of the shields.
That shield on the guy on the right, the left-hand side. Sorry, is his shield bowed in? Is it bowed, or is it flat?
What? Which one?
The
one on the
second.
Yeah, no, the second. No, yeah, his is rounded. His is curved.
It is curved.
Curved.
I really like that. Really like that.
There's 2 types. There's flat ones and then there's slightly curved ones. So these are Reconquer designs. And these are obviously also about off the old 3D printer. So I printed these.
Drink.
But I'm bloody pleased with them, to be honest. And I got the pennants of Little Big Men Studios, and I decided to go with the individual ones and not just get the generic, Crusader Red Cross, because I just thought that looked more fun having all of those on there. As I say, I've done them I just made up a bit of a livery for them, sort of this sort of what do you call it, orange and sort of creamy color. There's a bit of
quite bony, isn't it? Bony color.
Yeah. It's nice. So there you go. He got that one who's kissing his sword, which obviously is straight out of Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, that's
but yeah, there we go. Some cavalry. So I've just got 3 more to do, and then there's a heavy cavalry unit.
Lost you again there for a minute, Martin.
Must be pretty bad down this way. So I finished those, and then I was a little bit. I thought, what am I going to do? So I just did another unit of Zulus.
When in doubt, do a unit of Zulus.
When in doubt, do some Zulus. So yeah, I've done quite a bit this week. It's like I said, I kind of go through these little phases. There'll be times where it's like I don't get anything done, and then all of a sudden, like everything sort of ends at once. So you probably won't see like much out of me for like another month. But no, I'm really pleased with those knights and those pikemen, and of course these Zulus. So that's me, and I'm currently working on another Zulu. What do you call? What's the Zulu? An Induna. That's the sort of the imp one. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it.
Do you know what? I was waiting for Ken. Ken, you let me down. You let me down.
I will say it if we get that many likes on this video. There we go.
Hold on a second. You get so many likes, you get to say that phrase. I get 125 likes. I've got to sit through Fury.
That video's got like 250 likes now.
There's the breaks, Ken.
It's Tom's video, isn't it?
Yeah.
I reckon if we get 250 likes on this
work.
video,
I know.
No. If we get 250 likes, Dom has to paint a Space Marine.
No.
250 likes. Dom paints a Space Marine.
Well, I'll paint one. I will paint. I'll paint one if it gets 250 likes. Yeah, go on, send me one. I have painted one before, so there you
go. I can't help but feel that I've been on
in a color scheme of the viewers' choices.
I'll do it in the color scheme of my choice. Thank you.
I can't help but feel that on the likes to subsequent activity, I got the shitty end of the stick with
it was Christmas special.
You were the guinea pig.
Yeah, you were absolutely. We nothing else better to do some Zulus. This is the default task for Miniature Wargame. It is, and it should be for anyone who comes to future CrackCons, because we will do Isanwana one day, and
we do need thousands of them for that.
We do. Well, I still like my idea for that. I still think that we plan for CrackCon, say 5 or 6. And then at the preceding one, in everyone's goodie bag is one sprue of Zulus, and the rule is you just got to paint it and bring it to the next CrackCon, because that way there will be thousands of them, because we will have 50 people, 50 bases. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, that was my week, and then so I'm just working on some Byzantines and a Induna to lead the Zulus, and then I've just found out that out of the thousands of big red bat bases I've got, I'm missing the one that I use for my commander, so I've got to put an order on the side. And it upsets me as well, because look what arrived. Look at this. This arrived during the week, because
how much MDF do you get, sir?
I bought 150 more of the standard bases that I use, which means that I've used 150 since June, but I can't quite work out where.
Everywhere. Jesus
I don't
Christ.
know.
Don, I'll take your word for it, mate. Let's be honest. I'll take your word for it. I don't think I'll be watching it a third time. Let's put it that way.
Blimey! Oh, happy birthday, Lazy Pirate! Happy birthday, mate!
Treat me to a nice dinner. Happy birthday!
Yeah,
happy birthday,
awesome.
Dude.
We'll all drink to that.
Go on then, Dom.
What have I been up to? I've done a fair bit this week, so it's been good. So brace yourself, children. Here we go. No, I've embarked on a new project, which I'll talk about at the end. But I'm finishing off some of the Boxer stuff. So I showed this on the Facebook page, but some German Marines for the coalition forces against the Boxers. They're victorious miniatures, I think they're called, which were great fun to finish off. So I'm happy to get them done. And then I thought, well, I need some British sailors to go with them. So I did some British sailors to go with them. So they are talk about caricatures. Those are really caricature models. They're casting miniatures, casting room. That's the one. On the video I was about to do, I called them casting couch, but then I think that's probably not right. But yes, casting room miniatures. I'm not sure about them really, but anyway, they'll do. And then I finished off these are the last few boxes I've got, and I finished them off. So so I think I don't need any more boxes.
So you're not going to partake in this new range?
No, I'm not going to do that. I might get some Japanese. I didn't say I wasn't going to get any. I'm not going to get any boxes though.
Always a caveat.
I am going to do. I have ordered some of the Japanese because I need Japanese in my life. That's all I'm saying.
I know it's going to come onto the topic for tonight, but I'll save it. I'll save it for then. Go on, keep going.
All right, go on then. And then I started my first unit of my latest project. So that is going to be the Scottish invasion of Ireland.
Madness. You actually need to start this. You actually started doing this.
It's like the war that no one asked for, no one knows about, and
Dom's going to do it.
I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm doing it. Nobody's ever heard of it apart from Scottish people, and even then, I'm not sure all of them heard about it. So, so I'm working on that. But it's the beauty of that is that actually those figures there are largely the Baron War figures, also with some of those figures that you made me buy, Martin, at Warfare.
The Conquest ones.
Conquest ones.
I can hear
you can see Friar Tuck.
Oh, yeah, there's Friar Tuck there.
Yeah.
I was going to do mine. I was actually most pleased in the Facebook group when someone posted up. They said, "I want to do Robert of Sherwood. What rule system should I use?" And straight away, I was like, "I don't really know, but you should go to this website and buy these miniatures because if you want to play Robert of Sherwood, he's just made everyone." That is actually probably one of my favorite moments from a show where you just started like filling up your bag with this.
I like that one. I love that one. I love that one.
But you know what? They're by the end of next week, they'll all have been painted. So there you go.
I haven't even done my one. I haven't done my one blister pack yet.
You see, just falling. So yeah, I'm embarking on that. So I've been sorting through all the Barrymore figures, looking at what I need. I'm also for the kerns and stuff. I'm using the Atlantic. Irish, Dark Age Irish, because they're really not that different.
If it's because it's after the Scottish Wars of Independence, isn't it?
It's basically after Bannockburn. So
you could use the antediluvian models.
Yes, exactly.
Which are bloody lovely.
I know they are.
Have you ordered some?
I you know how many times I've had them in my basket, and how many times I've just thought, no, I must just use what I've got first, and then we'll come back to them. But I'm going to have some of those.
Yeah, but if you're used for, and this isn't to besmirch War Games Atlantic, but if you use like the War Games Atlantic Irish ones, but you could then stick the antediluvian like Gallo Glass models in as command group, or
I'm going to have the Gallo Glass as separate units. So I'm going to have them because they. So I've really gone down a rabbit hole with this. So I've just literally been reading up about it, listening to. Reading books, looking at websites, all sorts of stuff about it, and it's there isn't actually that much written about it. No, there isn't a huge amount, but there's a lot of really. Do you know? I discovered those medieval magazines done by the Dutch company.
Cam,
yeah,
I know what you mean.
Something, you know the one. Anyway,
yeah.
So they've got a whole load of back catalogues of various articles on which touch on that period, and I thought so. I've been reading through those, and they're really good. So basically, it's just finding the appropriate figures. So I'm gonna do a British, an English, Anglo Irish army, and a Scottish Irish army. So,
was the Irish army backed by the English at that point?
Well, the English had basically so. History lesson number 101, as far as I can remember, is obviously the Normans invaded Ireland, conquered it, and settled it, and installed a whole load of their lords who ruled Ireland. So they were sort of semi-feudal kind of arrangement. got pills and booze. She's
bought me Nurofen and mini eggs.
Oh, that's good of it.
Good girl.
Martin,
Good girl.
don't take them. Don't swallow the mini eggs like tablets. You might have.
Don't get them mixed up. Don't just start chopping the Nurofen.
Up in the mini eggs, yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically after, and then the Scottish are all post Bannockburn. So after Bruce kicked English, he invaded England, and he also invaded Ireland. And that's basically the story of it. So it was a 3-year war. And yeah, Benjamin, that was one of the videos that headed me down that rabbit warren. So yeah, so it's all cool. And I think Claymore will also be another one that I can use. Yeah. So that's where we got on that. So the first unit's underway, and I've been sorting through the figures and working out what I need to do. So, oh my goodness, what's this? I haven't read that one. Thank you, Martin. I'll look out for that. Ronald,
You're at 249 likes, just so you know.
249.
Nah.
I didn't even about 4. Anyway, that's enough of this shenanigans. So thank you, everybody. Appreciate all that. Oh, I should say hello to Ian. I don't think we've seen Ian before. Hello, Ian from Melbourne.
Hello, Ian.
Welcome.
Hello, mate.
Hi, Ian.
God, what time of the day is it in Melbourne? Actually,
early.
Coming up. Probably.
What time of day is it now? 4, nearly 9.
20 to 9. Just feels longer. And question from Martin, I guess. What do you, Morton's been looking at new rule set? Can't decide between Saga and Nevermind the Billhooks. Any suggestions?
It depends what you're playing, because Nevermind the Billhooks is late medieval. Although I can't, that's simply because they've written the rules lists for the late medieval period. Whereas Saga is a more I don't use the term. It's more fun. Saga is more
Develop.
The whole point, well, it's not. That's not what I'm looking for. The saga is along the ideas is that they're telling a saga, so it's got the slight unbelievable. It's not meant to be historically accurate saga. Your warlord can do like just crazy things. You know, if you watched our game, Robin can kill his own people off to get like extra attacks. You know, saga is meant to be beyond belief. It was meant to be mythical, and I don't quite understand it when people go on about the historical accuracy saga. When you've got people who are, it's not meant to be that. It's meant to be like Beowulfy and that's the whole point. It's a saga. Nevermind the Billhooks is good. I like Nevermind the Billhooks. I think it's fun to play. It's not my game of choice for that period, as I think everyone knows. But out of the two, I would probably say saga because you need less stuff. And you can, and although you need the dice,
more expensive.
The age of, well, never mind the Billhooks. You need the cards, you need the book, and you need a bigger army. So they're probably about the same. At the moment, I'm into saga, so I'd say probably saga. If it's a group, if you're doing it, I'd say saga because you've got the 8 or 10 different battle boards. You can each take it. You only need 30 models, and you're good to go. Never mind the Billhooks. It depends what period you're playing. You could do the Italian Wars with like.
They've just expanded out into new periods, haven't they? No.
Yep. If Ken Riley's watching this, he's going to be swearing. Because it's like that. But that's it. If you wanted to do the Wars of the Roses in a very, very small scale, then never mind the Billhooks, and you can use the Awesome Perry stuff or whatever your poison is.
Mm-hmm. So you can play Italian Wars in small scale.
More, his buddy wants to use horses and swords. Then get him to be the Normans because the Normans have horses and swords. If you want to do Age of Vikings, you could do Age of Crusades.
Exactly, do a different version of saga.
You could do the Age of Alexander and have the pike blocks with the missile propelled pikes.
Oh yeah, Miller's favorite. He loves them. Do you know they say the next saga coming out is Age of Chivalry? Apparently. That will be a medieval version of it. So based around the 100 Years War, apparently. So I was hearing on a video. So that'll be interesting as well. So you could do straight Billhooks versus that. I don't know. But Saga's a good system. I like it.
Got a bit more variety in Saga, haven't you? And then you can go into Magic. Then you can go into Magic.
I do like the Magic version, but nobody down the club seems to like it. So anyway. There we go. So there you go. Saga it is, he says. Yeah, Alex is right. He said it's a big learning curve to Saga. It is, but if you're learning it with a friend, you'll make mistakes together, and that's the perfect way to learn it.
Just watch our videos.
Play with Graham.
We'll all just screw ups for you on our videos. We'll screw everything up, and then when we get corrected, you won't get it wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome, right?
Can I just say Saga, Graham's War Games fault, and can I just say that it absolutely will not work for the Wars of the Roses? Can I just say that right off the bat?
Yeah, but you just said yourself it's not.
Shut up!
Historical
I know
system.
what I said. Shut up!
It's not a historical system.
Shut up! Shut up!
Yeah, check out Graham's War Game Vault. He does a lot of Saga.
I'll give you a mini.
Yeah, if you're into Saga, check out Graham's stuff. He does post a lot of videos, and he whoops my ass whenever we play.
He doesn't tell you the rules.
That's true because he cheats on me, but that's entirely reasonable. I cheat on him when we play other things, so it's all fine. Good, right? Let's get on to tonight's subject. So, as I mentioned when I was doing all my not my New Year's resolution because I don't do them because you got to have willpower and things, and everyone knows I don't have that. But I was talking about sort of rebasing and looking at some of my older figures and deciding what to do with them. When I started to look back at them, a lot of old memories came back from some of the figures, and then others I looked at and thought, geez, I put them on the table, really? But I can't really bring myself to necessarily replace them. So I was wondering what people thought about kind of figure ranges. And this goes to some of the stuff Ken was talking about last week about retro gaming, which I still can't believe is the term he tried to push over. But anyway, sort of looking back at some of the sort of minifigs and the Hinchcliffes and all this, there's lots of people who love playing with those old ranges. But then again, there's an awful lot of new, lovely, sexy figures coming through all the time. So would you upgrade or would you stick? Are you happy with what you got? Would you throw away a unit or 3 or even an army? I mean, metaphorically, rather than or sell it and start again. What would you do, Martin?
I'd sooner throw away my friends.
What friends?
Sorry.
I came to you just as you shoved that in your gob. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, yeah, too many except. Right. So, I've been wargaming since like '95. And I've got rid of quite a lot of that early stuff. I did, and as everyone knows, the intro for me was science fiction and fantasy. And I've kept a few of those models. But if we're talking about, I decided when you sent this to me, it's like, right, I went back to when I got back into wargaming after university. I went to it, it's like, right, what's a unit that I'm really proud of that I don't use anymore, but I still can't bring myself to get rid of. I assume that was in the theme of it. That's I got this. So this is from how old was I when I did this? I was young. Okay, I was very young. So this is my converted dark elf general on a chariot, which you couldn't buy, but was an option in the army book. So I think this is like 4th or 5th edition fantasy, like old world, and you couldn't get. This was not, so I had to buy the cold, and this was the first ever proper conversion that I did. So I bought the chariot. And then I ended up had to get rid of all the crew. Then I bought the general, who was actually a dark elf Dogs of War miniature from like the mercenary factions. In fact, I've zoomed in a little bit on him. There he is. Look at my. Sorry, I'm looking at my painting and I'm just getting twitchy.
Not bad,
I don't think that's at all bad.
So I green stuffed the cloak. That's all green stuff. That was the first time I ever sort of converted something or did it, and I was so proud of it. It did shocking in every single game that I ever played. Also, you might notice that my main opponent used ogres had came out later, and that's why I pinned one of the ogre heads to the thing above him. But that was back in the days where you could order individual parts by mail order. So I ordered the banner, I ordered this chap. I can't remember the name of the set he was from in Dogs of War, but I've put my dark elves away. But he's still in my display cabinet, and I have considered selling my dark elves, but I could never sell him. I even sort of did. That's my attempt at young Martin trying freehand on the shield. Like to make some kind of weird elfy looking symbol.
It's sort of an inverted seventh son symbol, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I think I used a cocktail stick to do that. But yeah, that was it. But so I could never bring myself to replace that. That has too much sentimental value because it was the first thing I kit bashed. I had all these ideas. I was like, yeah, I've got a warlord in a chariot. It's going to do really well. And it was shocking. It was so bad. Like now I know why they don't actually have a kit for it because no one wants to use it. But yeah, that was, God, that was ages ago. But when it came to upgrading, so I looked at my dark elves, and I think if I was going to if I was going to buy a dark elf army now, and before this stream I went and had to look at them, I probably would buy new models because I think the new models kind of show off more what I think especially elves, which I think are meant to be sort of like really graceful and darting around all over the place, whereas in this they were quite chunky and stocky, which I don't really think suits elves in my opinion. So in that one I would, but yeah, this was one, so I couldn't bear to get rid of that. I couldn't upgrade it. I couldn't get rid of it. So that's what when you asked, I did that. But there was one that I did more recently. So this one is, God, how old is this? Steve, you'll have to help me out with this because it's a War Machine model. It's the Minuteman from Signar. I think this is about 15 years old.
Yeah, that.
And I
7, 8, I reckon.
I got rid of all my Signar stuff, but I couldn't get rid of this. because I did all that effort on him taking off. Like that's what I did was I jammed 2 thick paper clips into his jetpack, and then I glued clump foliage all around them, and then I sprayed them black and I painted them so it looked like he was taking off, because I couldn't find the whole point of this model was it was meant to jump over things. Like that was the point in the game, and I couldn't find a way to get it. I was like, this just looks crap on its own, and I just couldn't bring myself to get with it. And as you can see, I've had to build the base up. There's about 20p in 2p's and 1p's in that base to weigh it down. That's why it's so chunky. The base, because it was top heavy, because of that's all metal, so it's all leaning forward. So I got rid of the collection, but I couldn't bring myself to get rid of that, and I couldn't upgrade that. I couldn't do it again. And funnily enough, it wasn't long after that I stopped playing. But I think generally I would be happy to upgrade models, but I think a lot more time would have passed, or the game would have to have whatever game system I'm using would have to have changed quite a bit, whereby it would make more sense for me to change the models completely rather than just use the ones that I've got. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I'd rather, yeah. So I playing this.
So would you go with Lionheart's thing here? He said he got rid of all his Conquest games, plastics, Normans, and now repainting Norman Warband using Victrix. So would you do that with your Napoleonics? You've got all those thousands of Napoleonics,
right? So I have thought about this. And I thought about it with the cavalry mainly, because I'm thinking, I was like, the way I do cavalry now, you know that I have the same size cavalry units, but I have less figures per cavalry unit, because even though they put figure counts into the rule books, because I went back and looked in the Black Powder rule book and the Pike, they got figure counts in it, but it's pointless. It doesn't matter. You want it to look good and get that feeling, but I was like, well, to me, cavalry is a little bit more dispersed. Anyway, especially maybe light cavalry and not those. I did think about doing it with the cavalry. And then I remembered that I hate painting Napoleonic cavalry.
I was going to say that's where it all came crashing down.
Yeah. So I haven't thought about that. I have found that I've started using the Napoleonic units that I've painted more recently. No, it's never going to happen, Robin. Go away. It's never going to happen. I have thought about using so I do. Do you find this? So I've as you have, Dom, and I know obviously Ken's got a load, and I know Steve eventually will have a massive Napoleonic collection.
Yeah, of course he will.
I'm continually painting units, although I haven't painted one for a while, and adding them in. I do tend to get out the more recent ones that I've painted and used than the older ones. And in fact, the older ones I try very, very hard not to put in the battle reports and not put on the table, because they frustrate me.
And also, are they the ones you throw into the breach because you think they're going to die as well first?
Oh, absolutely.
I do as well.
Absolutely.
The ones and
the
older ones.
Yeah, they always go. If in fact, in any game, if there's a model I don't like or that's a bit dodgy, even if he's not the one in base-to-base contact, unless he's got a different profile, so as long as it doesn't matter, I will say, do you mind if I just take this one instead, because I don't want him on the board anymore. In Saga, there's an Anglo-Dane model who's holding his shield up like this, so he's forming. I hate him. It's just pointless model. I hate it. I just hate him. So like in the game against Robin, I was like, can we? I know he wasn't in base to base, but I'll take this one out of base to base, and we'll just say he was there, so I can get him off the table. But I will do it in games. I have done it in games against Haley. I don't know if it's confident where I've removed a whole unit and then swapped it for a different unit in exactly the same place, just because I hate. I
and
just
you say swapping dice is bad.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, but the unit doesn't have. All right, okay. I'm a hypocrite. What do you want?
At least you admit it.
But yeah. So yeah, I think in some cases I wouldn't say that I upgrade and then throw out. I would say that I upgrade and then I just
move
keep the other
to a darker corner of the cabinet. Is that what?
Yeah, it's like stock rotation in the supermarket. It's just like I put them at the front. So I'll take it. For example, I keep on like with you, as you guys know, I'm not the biggest fan of bolt action just based off of recent experience. I'm sure if I have like sometimes I like it, sometimes I hate it. The last few games I've hated because I don't know, the game just doesn't seem to work for me, or I'm shit at it. That's probably better. But I look at my Airborne now, and I'm like, I really, really want to replace those, and I would happily get rid of all of those and replace them with the new plastics. I would happily do that. But then the only thing that's stopping me is I play bolt action very, very rarely. And I'm getting more enjoyment out of things like 0-200 hours in Operation Squad, where I need like 4 models. So if I do a bolt action army, then I love the Airborne. I love the history of the Airborne, the uniforms, Arnhem, Nijmegen, all of that. I love it. I say I love it. I find it really interesting. I would happily repaint, replace those, and then sell the other ones without the second thought.
Well, Paul Hicks, his Kickstarter's coming out in April, but it's metal, I'm afraid. Airborne, aren't they?
Yeah.
Could be a chance.
That's a good point. Why did you say that? God damn it.
I mean, Ken, you're Mr. Recycling when it comes to figures anyway, but what about, there's stuff that you just wouldn't get rid of? Or I mean, is there any figures you wouldn't get rid of?
My French Napoleonics. I'd never get rid of them because I'm never painting them up again. They just look good for what they are. They're just battalions of guys. They're everything that Martin wanted to do by basing them in 6s. They just work. But there is one actual unit I wouldn't want to get rid of. This one, which is this. It's a 3D print. One of my original 3D prints from ages ago. That's probably 3.5 years old now, maybe. Quite old. And yeah, I wouldn't get rid of it. It's shit on the table. Every time I use it, it blows up because it's a Puma. But I was just really proud of it. How I managed to this is the first actual vehicle I managed to 3D print and use. Basically, I was well happy. You can even though this is resin, you can still see the lines in it back then. But that just adds to it. I think with the colour.
I remember you printing that, and you were so excited that you managed to print it. That was brilliant.
Yeah, I know. I was buzzing. I was so happy I printed it. And I'd never get rid of that. I just never would. Like I say, it's so shit in games. I'm so crap with it. Anything that's to do with a Puma is just shite, and I wouldn't get rid of it though. That is one thing I definitely would not get rid of. It's too sentimental, isn't it? I think we've all got like those sentimental models that we just don't want to get rid of.
But would you, if you saw another Puma, a really, really nice kit, which there are some really, really nice kits out there, would you buy that, build it, and make it? Not get rid of the other one, but just use another one?
No, because I'm too lazy.
Would you feel like you were cheating on your Puma?
No, I'm just too lazy. I just couldn't be asked. I've already done one before. I'm like that. I won't go out and buy something just for the sake of enjoyment of doing it. I need to have a practical use behind it. Weird, isn't it? That's just my point of view. That's what I do. I wouldn't go out and buy another Panzer IV just because there's a new Panzer IV kit out. I've got one. If it looks half decent, yeah. If it looks shit, and I did a really crap job on it, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I'd sell it first and then move on. But
I want to upgrade my 6mm Samurai army if anyone wants it.
What thing?
A rubber, a pencil, something useful.
I don't know why you don't try and trade it. Someone will probably want it.
Because then I have to look at it. I've got to spend more time looking at it, taking photos of it, and putting it on there. I'm just gonna again, yeah.
You should, yeah. I sold mine.
I won't get rid of this Hero Quest stuff either. That stuff ain't going nowhere. It's too much happiness that's going to be in this. It's really weird. These models they're that soft plastic, a little bit bendy in it. But they're actually they take paint really well after you've had the great.
They always did board games models, and that for a long time. That's what we said. A lot of the RPG models you used were just out of board games because it was the easiest way to get hold of them.
Yeah, there's not bad detail either. To be fair, don't get me wrong. It's not as good as say a pristine plastic or a nice sculpted metal, but for what it is, yes, it does the job.
Excellent. Simon says he finds the old chipped, unloved figures fight the best, whereas the pretty boys died quickly. That's probably true, actually. That's probably very true.
Oh, no, the new shiny unit, or my Marmlukes.
Oh,
my Marmlukes, who are crap. They are absolute crap on the board. They're essentially just
chasseurs,
they're just chasseurs with targets on their heads. But that's all they are. But I was like, no, they're going to do something. What did they do? They just left the board.
It is a well-known fact that any freshly painted unit will always fail on its first outing on the table. Just the way that's the rules. That's the game of wargaming that we love. What about you, Steve? I know you've got your space limited as well. So how does that?
Yeah, plus, I've told that horrendous story about when I moved here. So I had to move quite. I had a really short time window to move from the village where I used to live to here, and I literally threw stuff away. Didn't sell it. Didn't give it away. I literally just put stuff. I binned 3 whole Flames of War armies.
That makes me sad.
I do regret that. I do regret it because they were the only Flames of War army I brought with me were my US Airborne. They're in a box down there. But when I moved here, so it would have been 2011. I wasn't in the hobby then. I was on my hiatus from the hobby, sort of. I take a bit of a break. So I didn't really think. I brought all my hobby supplies. They came with me. I brought a Space Marine army, some Flames of War, just what I could put in basically one box.
Yeah,
and then everything else was just launched. So I threw out loads of. I brought Space Hulk with me as well. But I threw out loads of bits and pieces. I'd say 3 whole Flames of War armies. They just got put in the bin. So I arrived with quite a reduced collection. But since then, I mean, I had boxes of some old figures as well.
Have you replaced any of those armies since?
No,
you've moved on to things anyway.
The closest I've come was last year. Was when remember I was redoing my Germans, but that was more of a. I didn't like the way I'd painted them because when I painted them, that was sort of 2017, 2018 when I first started painting as foursome, and I had a completely different painting thing back then. It was just quite basic, and when I got them out, I was quite ashamed of them because they look really, really crap. Just awful paint jobs on them. So I sat down last year and did. I mean, to be fair, I did contemplate with the Fallschirmjäger just buying a whole new starter set and repainting them.
Yeah.
So just replace it like for like, but with a different paint job, paint scheme, different painting technique that I'd be more happier with. But I thought, no. Let's just add some highlights, put some more details on, provide a better basing, and do it that way. Because I mean, I've got between 6,000 and 7,000 points worth of Germans for bolt action, and I'd rather not be replacing them if I'm being completely honest. But no, I mean, I've never ever sold a miniature ever. Never sold.
I find that extraordinary.
When I was in the 90s, when I was into the hobby, I used to barter. So we used to swap. We used to swap quite regularly, to be fair. But I've never. I don't think I cannot recall selling a single figure in my life ever.
Wow. What about this question? That's a really good question here. Have you ever thought? Are you willing to let a new person take over some of your old figures? So yours is different, Steve, because you had to move and throw them all away. But if you were to upgrade an army, would you give it to somebody so they could start out in the hobby?
Yeah, possibly. If I knew that so there's a gaming group round here, it's predominantly sci-fi driven. But if I upgraded and they said, look, we want to start playing bolt action, but we've not really got the players, we've not really got the figures. I think potentially them. I would donate an army to a gaming club. I mean, I wouldn't. I'd rather do that. I would rather do that than sell them. To be fair,
I donate scenery to gaming clubs. Well, I haven't had any more need for it. When I used to do a lot of RPGs, I used to build a lot of set pieces like castle keeps and like little things. And then the thing was, after our campaign moved on, I'm like, what am I actually going to do this again? The only one I've kept is my mountain top temple covered in snow, because one day I don't know, they're not going to use it, but I put a lot of effort into that one. But like, I had a lot of things like bridges and that I just whipped up really quickly out of polystyrene, and I just gave them to the clubs because I wasn't going to use them again.
I don't know. I'd love to think that I would give mine away.
Nah,
but I don't think I would. I mean, they're all my children. I just, like, no.
I don't want to like bring this up or like tempt anything, right? But what's happening to all your shit when
you're not going to say
when you cark it? Yeah.
Well,
I live the nearest.
I'm hoping, it's like, I'll just give my address out to everybody. You can come and help yourself. It's one of those things, not getting morbid, but as you get a little bit older, you start thinking about that. So yeah, I don't know really. I hope I'll get a bit of notice, in which case I'll start flogging bits off and giving stuff away. But
can I have first dibs?
Jesus. Bloody hell.
No, because you'll just smell it. I know what you're bloody like.
See, Haley asked me, she was like, do you expect me to do something? I was like, yeah, I expect if I go, I expect you to keep the channel going. I expect you to keep going.
Oh, Dom, you want to put some aside? You have like a Viking funeral.
Yes,
I could set fire to this whole building with me laying on the 6x12 table, couldn't I?
Bloody hell. Dom, that would burn for about 4.5 years.
How much plastic would go up and metal?
The solvent smell. Jesus Christ.
That's on the MTF.
Oh my Lord. I don't know. I mean, it is a scary thought, isn't it? And the thing is, I'm sort of torn between that whole business about wanting to make sure it goes to the right house, but then not actually telling my wife how much it's worth and how much I've spent over the years.
To be fair though, you have, I'm not being horrible, but you have got friends that, like myself, Martin, and that we'd always come and help.
Listen to him. He's already on the scrounge. I haven't died yet, Ken. Fuck's sake.
I'm just saying, you never know what's around the corner. It could be the number 28 bus.
Ken, do you slow down to look at accidents?
No, I don't.
Because he's in them normally. Again, he felt holes covered with tarpaulins. Why would you walk across a tarpaulin?
He only goes past accidents to make sure he sees what people are going to be selling away afterwards. I don't know. It's Anyway, it's rather morbid, but it has crossed my mind. It has crossed my mind. And when I was younger, I did actually write it into my will that my collection was going to go to one of my mates, but that was before
taking it out.
Size. So I might have to amend it. So at the moment, Nick's going to get the whole bloody lot. I don't know if he knows what to do with it, but I must amend that will.
So it's a question from Paul about go for your older painted. That's exactly what I did last year, Paul, with my Germans. I sat down, because they're all stored in the box over there. Opened them, I thought, bloody hell, they're a bit crap. So I separated out all the good ones from the crappy ones. And I built, rather than just do it sort of willy-nilly, I set out to paint 1,000 points.
You said 1,000 models.
1,000 points. And I think that kept me focused. In fact, that was the army that I took to fight Rich at CrackCon 3. So they were all my fully upgraded painted ones. That's why I'm terrified to look at my US Marines, because I know if I look at those, I'll want to, even though they're my first proper completed bolt action army, I don't want to touch them because they're of a time and place. I painted the entire lot in 3 weeks and I was really, really chuffed with it. So I wouldn't want to go back and start tinkering with it.
It's the thought of redoing figures. I know I need to, and I look at them and I think, geez, some of those I've
never actually redone any. If I really think about it, I've still got any. I've either sold it and never painted them again, or I've just kept them. It's like I look at my ghouls that are sitting opposite me, just done in contrast. Don't get me wrong, they look absolutely shit, but I'll still use them because they've got more than 3 paint on them. And if I need to use some ghouls, I'll use them. Because they're there and they're done and they're painted. I'm not too fussed about it.
But the funniest thing is, I have actually bought figures on eBay that are badly painted, and then
and you've done them up. Yeah.
But I haven't done it to my own figures. I don't know
No.
why.
Well, you had that 15 mil ACW that you wanted to rebase, didn't you?
Mm. Yeah, I will do that. Well, that's what got me thought on this whole process.
See, interesting question. Is rebasing?
Yeah, it is
a completely different thing to upgrading. Yes. Is it?
Yeah,
I would say it's completely different.
Yeah, I would. I think because your basing style changes, doesn't it, over years? Actually, so did your painting style. So,
what do you guys reckon to this one?
That's a really good question, Daniel.
So I can't say. So if my so I can liken this to. So I had right. Is anyone? I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'd get too annoyed. It'd have too many memories. Like, you know, and the closest thing I can put to this. Do you remember the game? I don't know if everyone knows it. The game called Dragon Age Origins. It's on the PS3. It's a brilliant game. It's still probably one of my favorite sort of RPG adventure games that's ever came out.
It's still quite a popular game now.
Yeah, you could clock up loads of it. I clocked up a lot of like over 200 hours on this, right? And I did everything, and then my PlayStation got hit by like a fault, and you could transfer everything onto USB. So I sat there, and weirdly, we'd had a house party, so I'm still not convinced one of my friends hadn't put something like some drink in my PlayStation. There is a point to this. I could transfer all the data for every game, bar this. The Dragon Age data wouldn't transfer into a USB, and then I had to go for. I went on to all the forums, like, no, it's untransferable, and essentially the only thing I could do was format my PlayStation to try and get it to start working again, and I couldn't do it. I had to get Haley to do it because I had to get Haley to do it, and I couldn't play it again. I couldn't do it. I couldn't bring myself to redo it, and it'd be the same with an army. It'd be different if it was sort of like a skirmish army where you're talking like 30.
If you lost all your naps, you'd be fucking.
No, I'd never do them again. No, I'd never do them again. No, it would be.
Do you know what I would do? I'd tell the insurance company that they're probably worth 6 times the amount they are because they're professionally painted, and then I'd get them professionally painted by somebody else.
Can I just say that the PCP doesn't endorse insurance fraud
at all? Yeah. I don't know. I could start over again. I think I would start over again, but I'd probably be a lot more focused.
I think that's it. I think focused. I wouldn't replace everything, figure by figure. I think I'd be like, right, okay, that happened. It's shit, but let's try and replace what I would have wanted to have kept.
I'd say, yeah.
I think I'd redo my Germans. There'd be a few things I'd be annoyed though. Like I said, I wouldn't start painting again. So I don't know. I wonder if it just like completely annihilate the hobby for me. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think it would definitely mar it. It would mar the experience. It would just leave a bad taste. I'd probably come back to it. But I would certainly for a large army, like if I lost, for example, my Wars of the Roses stuff, first of all, I'd be absolutely. I think if I had to lose one of my collections, or I had to keep one, and I had to let all the others just go into the internal fires of hell, I'd keep the Wars of the Roses. If I lost,
so if the house was burning and you got your kids out and Haley out, the next thing you go and get your Wars of Roses, and the rest.
That's the order I'd do it in. Yeah, totally.
Obviously, I'm saying that because I'm sure Haley's listening. So
obviously, that is the order in which I would take this. Yeah, absolutely. No, I just get each kid to carry a box. It's like, come on, this way. No, leave
Teddy. Leave Teddy.
No, you don't need Teddy. You take this box of. This is very important. Yorkist.
This is Zouaves.
Yeah. I don't know. I would restart again, and I would probably be a lot more focused. And bizarrely, although I've started this whole process by saying there's figures here I wouldn't want to lose, I wouldn't want to, if I did, I could cope, I think. I'd just restart.
Weird, man.
Do you know what, for me?
Much as I love them.
Do you know what I think I'd miss the most with my my turn at 28 armies.
Yeah, because they're just.
But that'll never burn because they're all moist in mud.
That's because you've put so much of yourself, tough, into
you could eat your turn at 28 armies
into them and stuff like that. That's why, because it's very personal to you. It's not just straight. I mean, and that's the thing with your models now, isn't it? I mean, they mean so much more, as we've said, to you, because they're individual.
Yeah,
everything is different. And if you wanted to go and redo something, would it be the same? To get that exact feel again, you'd have to.
I think I'm apart from the fraud that Ken suggested, I'd probably do a similar thing. I would actually spend the money of the insurance money on getting a smaller number of figures painted beautifully. Yeah, and then I'd be happy. I'd actually be quite happy.
Yeah. I would. That's what I would do. But I'll tell you something, right?
Here we go.
It's an interesting one, really, because when you really think about it, and what do you mean? Fucking here we go.
I'm just waiting.
Wait for the next thing you're going to talk about.
Well, the next controversy.
Yeah, go on then.
Could you? I think if I did it again and I had to start again, I wouldn't. I know it sounds a bit weird, but I wouldn't be so detailed with certain things. So, like, if it was a base unit of like infantry, it would just be base wash and dry brush done.
That's absolutely fair enough.
24 unit. I wouldn't bother going in and doing a layering or anything like that. There's just no point. I'd hit it a completely different way.
I'd go
the other way.
No, I'd be like, oh my God, no, that Napoleonic French unit I painted, it's gone up in flames. I am so distraught.
I would stood there with a match over it.
No, I'd love it if Steve, no, I wouldn't love it if Steve's place burnt down. Let me rephrase that. I would love it if, in the unfortunate event that something happened to Steve's collection, if the only thing to survive is just his solitary French drummer on top of a pile of ashes.
I would laugh my fucking dick off at the end of the world.
It'd be like someone off Child's Play. You know that film with Chucky, but everything be burned. Yeah. You burn all the French, and all of a sudden you look round, and there'd be this single solitary French drummer staring at me.
I imagine if Dom was watching his collection burn. Have you guys seen Red Dwarf, where Rimmer has to burn Napoleonic? He has to for firewood. And he stands there and he's just saluting. He's doing the last post as his Napoleonic
I think I would
stuff.
Genuinely cry. It would not be a nice thing.
I could just see that happening.
No, you don't want to see it happening. Thank you. But you're my mate.
I'll tell you something, right? I would. This is the weird side of me here now. I would love to be able to.
Really?
No, I'd love to just be able to like mess around with Steve and just have like keys to his flat and go in and just put the drummer in different places. Just fuck about with it. Just like he wakes up and it's in front of him and it's moving all the fucking time.
This is the kind of thing a sociopath does.
I think I might need to beef up my home security somewhat.
Just to see the reaction.
Actually,
you know what? I'm just getting a really weird feeling, guys. This drummer keeps moving around. I swear he keeps moving.
Speaking of those French, I tidied out my stash last week, and I actually found that unit of French that I painted.
What, the 20 of them and not the 24? Because you never painted the last 4.
No, I did. No, I didn't. There was 4 that got turnipped, but the rest were all painted.
And I said, give them to me and I'll do the last 4.
Which colours are my turnips? I've got.
You've got a few.
Oh, crikey. Yeah. It's been quite a while.
What's the snail one?
They're called
the Snail Knights.
Snail Knights. I can't remember the cult name though. Do you know what? It's been that long since I did anything Turnip 28 related. I've got the Tall Man, which is the Knights of Shellwood. They're the Snail Knights. I've got the 13th cohort. They are the Slug's Lament.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got the Root Shrine one, which I can't remember. Do you know what? I've got to start playing some more Turn 28 again, because I used to be able to reel these cults off. It's good. It's a really good game. I've just been away from it for quite a while. I think it's one of those things where I can't do Turn 28 constantly because I don't want it becoming like a regular, like a consistent thing. I just want to go back to it every now and again.
You lose the fun out of it otherwise. Yeah,
you do. But no, I've already got half a new regiment built. I just need to base them and paint them.
Right, let's do a little bit of news and have a break, and then I'll show you some of my. It's 20 past 9. We'll do a bit of news, and then I'll show you some of my stuff and talk about some of the things people have talked about in the chat, because there's been some really good stuff there. So, there's the thingy. Oh, hang on, brace yourself. Here we go.
Steve, that's the music that will play as he's sneaking around your flat.
I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
That's the scariest thought.
If you feel like breath just behind your neck in the night, and you get that.
Whoa, that is horrible.
God, I'm going to be crouched in the corner with a carving knife.
Oi, you know it's possible, Steve. Remember that hotel room that I just appeared in?
Yeah,
don't worry up.
Oh shit.
Right, Martin, what have you seen anything, mate?
No, I have. I've seen things. I've seen a lot of things.
I've seen a lot of things. There's a lot. We've heard a lot of things tonight.
I've seen the Napoleonic dragons.
Shit. Right on. So V&V Miniatures have released some 40mm Celts. Which I thought were quite cool. So I imagine that our old friend Meza will be stocking these at Meza's Miniatures. So if people wanted to do something, a bit larger scale, I thought these were quite cool. I quite like the actually my favourite out of all of those is the sort of soothsayery druidy person on the left. I think he's pretty cool. Or if I think he looks brilliant. If someone wanted some kind of model for to use as a statue, I think they'd be quite cool. So I thought they were quite nice. I know we've got people who play Frostgrave, and the new book, the new setting, the Wildwoods is Osprey have announced that. So I mean they're pretty. I mean they get like a new setting every 2 to 3 months, I think. So I think there's quite a few now. So they must be doing well. And obviously it's in its second edition already, so it's going strong. So that's nice. And I saw this now. This is fantasy, but the company makes such nice miniatures, like Black Scorpion Miniatures. You remember Graham? Yeah. So they are going to be going on to Kickstarter with a fantasy dungeon delving game. So it's quite different from what they've already got, because they've got the is it called Cut? They've got not Dead Man's Hand. What's their one called? Tombstone. Their Wild West one, and then I think they've got one the pirate version. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say
I can't
someone in the chat. But they've put together a Kickstarter. They've just previewed some of their greens. So Steve, I saw this and thought of you, obviously, straight away. So this is their bit. But they want to go. Apparently, they're going for some classic dungeon delving fantasy hero questy kind of thing, but with their miniatures, which are some stunning miniatures. But look at this one. This is their take on a sorcerer.
That was really cool. That's fucking awesome. That's really cool.
That was very, very nice.
Fantastic.
So I don't know when this is going to be happening. If you haven't checked out Black Scorpion Miniatures and you're looking for alternative Wild West models, or even historical models, they do a whole medieval range based on the guards that William Wallace kills in Braveheart, including like the slightly tubby guy whose throat he cuts.
One, yes.
The rather rotund one, yes. But they do make lovely miniatures. So you found everything else that I was going to bring up. So.
Our mate Graham at the club has a gang for Dead Man's Hand of ladies that are all from that range. The Soiled Doves.
Hang on. Let's say what he did. We were drinking. Mm-hmm. Then he said, "Why should I get into this game?" We gave him reasons, and then we wandered around for an hour looking for a specific group of characters that and he found them.
He did. And you know what? He uses them all the time, and he's addicted to that game, and it's all because we got him slightly tiddly at Salute last year.
That was nice.
Very funny. What about you, chaps? Ken, do you see anything?
Yes, I did. Oh my God, Ken's got some news. Jesus.
Hell,
Right.
Jeez.
What's going on? Right, so yeah. Take a drink. 3D printing.
Oh God.
So there's an upcoming Kickstarter for STLs for chasseurs at Cheval. 6, 10mm and 15mm. So if you like your smaller scales, they're going to be coming out soon. And like I say, 3D printing for smaller scales, I think works really well. So yeah, they I think he said within the next couple of weeks this will be starting, and you get all the different types. So they are scaled in 6, 10, and 15. So you get all of them, and obviously print as many as you like. He's done previous Kickstarters. This guy, he's done one French cannon set at 28mm, but he tends to, what I've looked for, he does like the whole thing. So he did a whole load of ACW. So did all the stuff for ACW. So if he's moving on to this, maybe he's going to do the whole of the French. So maybe you get the infantry next and all that sort of jazz. So well worth a look at, obviously, because they're normally not very expensive. So worth just getting a look on. So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
I have news.
Hey! Blimey.
We've all got news.
What the hell is going on?
That's the first time
All of us have had news.
Ever. My news is this.
Oh, what's this?
Sword Weirdos.
That is weird.
So, if you've
says
been
it in
looking
the
at,
title.
A knight, a Celt, and Mongolian?
an empire figure. So, if you check, a few weeks ago on the Facebook group, I said I'd found this rules. I'd known about it, but I'd never really looked into it. It was called Space Weirdos, and it's a really, really, really funky little space skirmish game. And it's miniature agnostic, so you can use any of your collection. The rule book is 16 pages long, and I got mine for £3 off War Games Vault, and it's brilliant. I've soloed it, and it's just fast paced and brilliant. And I always check out YouTube channels doing Space Weirdos.
Nice.
I had this just reminded me, but obviously Steve finish.
So it's made by Garsky Games. I think the guy's name is Jay Garsky. And he started the Kickstarter. Garsky, Garskey. He did a Kickstarter, and the overall goal was $500 to do Sword Weirdos, which is sort of a fantasy version of Space Weirdos. Anyway, he raised $3,500, so I think it's going to be.
Nice.
I think it's fully funded, and it's going to be released. Hopefully released soon. I watched a preview video last night about it, and the guy he's obviously got a preview copy. It's very, very similar to Space Weirdos, but it's Sword Weirdos with more sword and sorcery. The emphasis is on fast-paced, small play. So Space Weirdos is played on a 2x2 board with about four or five figures aside. It's all dice driven, so it's all you get to use D10s, D12s, D4s, D8s, D6s, and it's brilliant. So when I found out that they were doing a fantasy version, I am very, very chuffed this will be out soon, hopefully, and I'm going to get involved in that as well. So yeah, keep a lookout for Sword Weirdos, and check out Space Weirdos as well. Like I said, £3.50 on War Games Vault. You cannot go wrong. It's a brilliant game.
Can I just say something, because I'll forget otherwise. Graham from Grave Games has now put the playtest rules for solo 0200 as up for playtesting. In fact, if that's something you're interested in, you should go on the 0200 Hours Facebook page, and there's a separate group where people who want to playtest stuff, so you can get the link to the playtest group in there, and it is free, and anyone can go and join it, and he puts things up in there and he looks at feedback. But the alpha solo rules are up in there as well. And the other thing I'd just like to say, I know that we've got some Blood Bowl fans in the group and in the Facebook group. If you are a Blood Bowl fan, check out Simon's Blood Bowl post up in the PCP Facebook page, where he started the PCP league, and you can see all sorts of updates on the different teams that are in there. You can see all the votes on the various games that are going to be played. So head over there and have a look. And Dom's going to put up pictures later of some of the cool stuff that's been posted up, and not just by him though. So do go and check that out if you're into your Blood Bowl.
Awesome. I know Simon put a question before. I forgot to answer it. Simon, my orc team that I've been painting for 6 years, I'm 2 figures away from finishing. 2 finishes.
Way! Are we going to have a celebration when that happens?
It's only taken me 7 years and a second edition of the game coming out to actually get them.
Fucking insane, that is, Steve.
It's because I chose completely the wrong colours.
I do Blood Bowl, but no one plays it. So
no, my best mate.
You wouldn't play it, would you, Dom?
No, but there are a couple of people down the club who play it.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, I've seen people play it down there.
Yeah. No, my best mate's not a gamer. He isn't a gamer. So whenever he comes around, I always try and get him to play something. So he loved X-Wing. We played the Judge Dredd board game. He loved that. And I said, "Oh, right, this week we're going to play Blood Bowl." And he was like, "Well, what's that?" Because he likes American football. I said, "It's fantasy American football. You can't go wrong. It's violent. It's funny." Yeah. We played one half and he got bored, and so we had to put it away. You can actually get bored playing Blood Bowl. That was a spectacular feat, mate. It really was.
Yeah,
I tried to play the online or the computer version.
I don't trust the computer. You should never
know what the hell was going on.
No, don't trust the computer version.
No, random number generation, my arse. It's fixed, absolutely fixed.
I couldn't even work out what was going on even to get it fixed.
It doesning explain it to you, nothing.
No,
it doesn't. There was no instructions at all. And I know American football. I love American football, but anyway, never mind. Talking about some of the community stuff, make sure you join the Facebook page. Details in the description down below. We're approaching 900.
We are.
We are. Yeah.
So thanks to everyone who is joined there. Lovely community. Everyone's showing off all their work in progress and stuff, and things like Simon's little project. But also, Warren posted this as well about the War Games terrain group build that he's running with a few other people. So if you're a member, you can check that out. And basically, I think it's a project. It's a fun thing just to encourage everyone to do terrain features, big, small, medium, doesn't matter, just get your terrain done. So that's kind of a fun thing as well. So check that out. Some of the stuff I saw, I did post these, so I'll just rustle through them quickly because we're going through the time tonight. Empress have done another load of Western figures, which I think look really. I do like Empress stuff. So they got a whole load of different cowboys.
Oh, I've been perusing the Empress website a lot because, of course, of the Zulu and the Boer stuff. But they do make nice miniatures. I did agree. So I see someone comment that they like the idea of the sculpts, but they just find there's something about the sculpting they didn't like. And I do sometimes the sculpts do look a bit soft, I think.
Yes, but I know exactly what you mean, and they are quite soft metal as well, aren't they? I mean, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, they're nice. They are nice models as a whole, and I think they paint up well. That's all I will say. And the other thing I saw was Warlords have released a new SDKZ 250 and various options if you're into your
resin again, didn't they?
Ah, yes. Speaking of which, did you see that announcement in the newsletter?
No.
There's certain units. It will be the last time you see them in metal. They're being reinvented in resin.
Okay.
So,
resin. Does that mean they're getting rid of the anti-tank guns in metal and bringing them over?
I was talking to a mate about this the other day. Yeah.
I would prefer that.
Are they phasing out their metal range and replacing it all with resin?
We did talk about that when they started doing the resin. They started more prolifically.
It makes sense because the price of metal is ridiculous at the minute. It's stupidly expensive to metal at the moment.
Thing is, though, imagine a company overhauling its entire metal range for resin. That's going to be some undertaking, that isn't it? That's it. It really is.
Yeah, it's not something. It's not a decision that they would have made overnight. It'd have been a.
Mind you, I've forgotten that piece of news. I put it on the Facebook, and I can't even remember who the company was. But somebody's offering the options. You can buy either resin or metal, the same figures.
Oh yeah,
Really?
That's War Games Atlantic, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Atlantic.
No,
it wasn't Atlantic.
No.
I can't remember who it was. But I thought that was an interesting thing. So there wasn't a huge price difference either. So
So Robert's put a logo Silecast.
Yeah, probably.
The when I was on the open day, we got to see the Silecast being done, and we all got a free miniature. And I've got to say, I was very, very impressed with the Silecast.
Thanks, Benjamin. Yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I got a Judge Dredd figure, and they did it in Silecast, literally in front of us. And they were doing like 12, 16 of these things, those big round things.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really quick. But the level of they had a fantasy miniature as well. It was from the Slain box. I was so impressed with the level of detail because I still remember the Warlord resin Judge Dredd figures that I had.
Oh, they were awful,
and they were questionable. Once they were tied up, they painted okay.
Do you think you're going to get to a phase where you go onto a website for something like Warlords or Plastic Soldier Company or what have you, and you have a drop-down option? You could have silo-cased, resin, metal, plastic, whatever, and you choose whichever you want, and there's a premium on various of them. I don't know. Or 3D. That's the other one. Sorry, drink, everyone.
Sorry, yeah. So Leslie did say another material. I'm assuming it's resin. And there was a rumor on the Boltax from Facebook group, which I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to be giving out false information. But they did make reference to resin as well. So yeah, it should be interesting.
Awesome. All right, some good news there. Thank you, everyone. God, blimey, yeah, everybody had a bit of news. So let's go back at some of the people talking about what they've done with their old figures, because I've got some really interesting stuff here. Ken said he painted up the Perry ACW Battle in a Box, some extra boxes, did both sides, decided didn't like them, spent the last 2 years replacing them with metal ones.
Blimey.
That's a work of passion, that is. Blimey. Dermot says he sold his front rank AWI and Wargames Foundry armies to get into Napoleon after a 20-year break from wargaming. That sort of thing I can understand. Selling some figures, if you're not using them, to then fund something you are going to use. I kind of get. Yeah. Because not everybody can afford to put one lot in a box and put them aside and get out something else. So I kind of get that. And also space-wise as well.
Dom, you could, if you sold like your stash, you could like solve the GDP of some countries. You could wipe out some countries' debt with the amount of.
I am in negotiation with Richie at the moment about solving the whole problems. Yes, and actually Gary also talked about he built 3 armies in 172nd, Austrian, Russian, and French, packed them all away in the loft, and then discovered Perry plastic Napoleonics. Do you know, I completely forgot, and I found them not that long ago, all my 172nd plastic Napoleonics. I really must do something with them. I will probably sell them if they're in any state. I keep forgetting about that as a scale. And John says, personal experience, moved countries twice and continents once. When I started wargaming, I've lost stuff in the moves, and I've replaced it all more than once. So I guess you're not very sentimental to the figures then. I don't know. I say part of me says I could get rid of it all, and I wouldn't have a problem. And I don't think I would. There's certain units I would miss, and certain armies I would miss, but they're all counters, right? At the end of the day,
ultimately,
they're just counters. You get new.
Do you think there's anyone out there that isn't attached to their miniatures? So if they lost them all, they'd be like, whatever, let's get some more. Yeah, they're just playing pieces.
Jesus.
I don't know, because I do fluctuate between it. So I'm going to show to my huge embarrassment. I'll show you some of the stuff that I was going to talk about here. So. This group of elephants. So these are 28 mil, believe it or not. They look tiny. Numidian elephants. And I use these a lot in back in the day, Warhammer Ancient Battles, big battles. In fact, these took part in a really big game we've put on at Salute once, and they are not very fearsome. Look at them up close. Looks more like a teddy bear elephant. It's but I wouldn't want to replace them. I wouldn't. They're terrible models, but I wouldn't want to replace them. No. But yeah, I don't know. But then they've sat in a box. They sat in the garage in a box for about 10 years, and now they're sitting here for another couple of years before I get around to doing them. So if I lost them, would I really miss them? I don't know. Don't know. Then I got other. Talking about embarrassing figures. Look at these. These are really old figures. I've had these for 100 years. Look at the guy in the back there with a green sword. What was in my? What possessed me? These are enamel painted, so they're that long.
Elf.
So when I first started, look at the basing on that guy at the front. I mean, that's quality basing, Steve. There you go. So when I started wargaming, I had all these old D&D figures, and I think that's where these were from. And they're probably Foundry stuff, I would imagine. And I used to use them as part of my warband, part of my Viking warband. So in Warhammer Ancient Battles, you used to get these berserkers that would charge out of the units. And those three, whenever I put them in a unit, were the most deadly of the lot. And I always wanted to throw them away and get rid of them because they were so terrible. But those three would rush out and just cut swathes through the enemy. Didn't matter who they were. And so they could never be got rid of. So every time, and it also used to annoy the hell out of Nick, my opponent, that I brought them out because they'd always do well. And you go, oh, sodding hell, it's the guy with the green sword again. And cut his way through things. So yeah, that's sort of weird stuff. But I don't know. I that said, I could quite happily. I don't know. Could I get rid of it? No, I probably couldn't. I don't know. I could fluctuate backwards and forwards. What else do people say here? Shring says, most of my Napoleonics are Wargames Foundry, Front Rank, and Perry's. However, I have a unit of minifigs Old Guard that I had in 76 when I was 12. A mix of max ranges, nostalgia rules for me. Good on you, mate. Who was I? I was talking to David at the club on Friday. We were talking about the minifigs, Old Guard figures. They had Busbies that are bigger than the figure. They're like the figure's that size and the Busby's that size. It's just extraordinary on them. I did sell some of those recently because I bought them thinking I'd paint them up, and I'd looked at them and went, nah, and sold them, made more money. I did a Ken, I sold them for more than I bought them for.
Look, that's just reminded me that I put on the Facebook group last week as a picture of this guy. So this is that Adeptus Mechanicus figure from 1988. Yeah. I painted that in sort of 92, 93. And it's appalling. It was painted with old games, Citadel inks. And I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now, I could easily strip that and repaint it a lot better, but I won't, because it reminds me, it shows me where I came from as a painter, and it's just a figure that demonstrates progression, and there's a lot of sentimental in this. So yeah, no, I will never repaint that.
Sorry, Martin.
No, I just seen Alex's comment about my t-shirt. It says most read it every t-shirt. Indeed, I had. Oh God, what have I done? The screen just disappeared. I'm back. There we go. Something weird going on with my internet tonight.
Yeah, Miller says he's got loads of metal ECW. He's got loads of ECW metals lately, and he tries not to look at his plastic Warlord stuff. He feels annoyed that they're all plastic. They are awful. Those Warlord plastics need an upgrade. Jeez, do they need an upgrade? Somebody needs to do something.
But would you upgrade your battalions?
I would.
That you've already done.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Would you redo them?
Well, I've some of mine are actually metal already.
Yeah. If Victrix released a set, as dynamic. I mean, they could of 60 models where you could get you could build I don't know, like 30 as Pike and 30 as. Would you get those and slowly replace yours?
Do you know, I possibly would. I sounded much more certain earlier, didn't I? But no, I possibly would. I don't know really, because I don't use ECW enough to really justify it. But I probably would over time. I would probably just buy those extra units and just add them into the force, and then like you said earlier, use them more often. And that's probably what I would do.
Yeah, the others are just there for crack.
Yeah. I don't know. It's yeah. No, I don't think I would. Benjamin says he's selling his very first Flames of War army this weekend to a kid who's new to the hobby, loves the wargaming part, but doesn't have the urge to paint. No sentimental feelings towards his armies.
Oh, right. So, Benjamin, when you put your 1066 stuff up, then let me know.
Yeah, Benjamin. When you got stuff to sell,
let us know when those thousands of hand painted shielded troops are going up. Just give us a shout.
Yeah, he was talking about CrackCon 7 or something, putting on a game of that, so that would be good. You can't throw away or sell your classic miniatures, as they're like family. They've been with you through thick and thin. I can.
Family, doesn't it?
Yeah, it depends. I don't like my family very much, so it's all fine. No problem. What are we doing? I'm conscious of time. Daniel says, is it? We have done this one. They've traded away, given away, sold, or thrown away armies over the years. I've always ended up regretting it later, or they'd never have enough room for them if I kept them. You just have to get a building built, mate. That's how you keep them. That's what you do. It's the only way to keep them. Ken again, so he sold all my 15mm historic bar and medieval Russian in the 80s and now replacing them in 28mm. Sold all my Warhammer armies 3 years ago. Good on you. I did nearly sell all my 15mm, and then I joined Farnborough, and the first few games I played were all in 15mm, so I was so pleased I hadn't thrown them away or sold them.
Ken, just a question for Ken. So what the hell happened with your latest purchase then? Because that was straight out of left field, mate. I'd love to know how. He's bought some sort of I think they're like Sisters of Battle, but not.
There must be something in the water since this
there is.
year.
That's what he said.
People are doing some really weird things, aren't they?
There's definitely something going around because people are buying things that you didn't think they'd ever get around to buying or working.
Maybe just everyone's finished like a whole bunch of projects and they just want to palette cleanse or something on like.
Well, that's why I'm painting. Do you know what I can honestly say? Going back to painting these, I am thorough. I'm thoroughly enjoying painting these again. These Marines, they're just a lot of fun, and I don't know. I'm just really enjoying them. It's just proper painting as well.
I've said it before. The Badges and Boroughs for me are like a palette cleanser, and you just need something a bit different to do to keep you motivated. And I just, I've got a few here until when I get to that point when I want to do something different, I'll paint them up.
Turn up 28. Turn up 28.
Not on your life. Not on your life. Right. Let's do some of the pictures from the Facebook page, shall we? Because as ever, there's been some fabulous posts up there. Although it looks like most of them have disappeared again. Oh, Jesus. They have as well. Oh, bloody hell. Talk about yourselves. Yeah, they have. A load of them have disappeared.
Oh, what?
I'll show what I can and then I'll maybe put some more up at the end. Apologies. These are all, again, people who've posted stuff on the Facebook page. I can't show everything, but I can't show everything because a load of them have all gone down now, but never mind. Apologies. StreamYard seems to do this from time to time. So let's have a look. Tony showing off some of his Rohan figures.
Yes.
Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Very cool. And also a Saga Warband if you want one.
That is a Saga Warband, yeah.
It certainly is, isn't it? Blimey. Yeah, good point. What else we got here? Andrew.
Oh, cool.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, really
Yay.
cool. Oh, that's really cool. I like that.
That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Do like
awesome.
some zombies.
Good effect on the gore as well.
Mm.
Has anyone played that game?
Is that a
I've got it.
Is that a night goblin shaman hanging around in the trees at the back?
Yes, it is.
Yes, yeah, it is fucking sweet. That is, and he's got a goblin green base. Oh, classic.
Love it. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to find these pictures. Here we go. Barry, someone will have to tell me what they are. I've no idea.
These are swooping hawks.
Swooping hawks.
The guy with the big wings, the swooping hawk Exarch, and they are absolutely bloody brilliant. The memories.
Nice free hand.
I
hand on the flag as well.
hated these so much because my opponent was.
They can jump in and out, can't they? After they've shot.
Yeah,
they're so good.
Well, they jump in and out. What does that?
Yeah,
work?
so they can jump into combat,
They've got
shoot, and then
wings.
jump out of combat.
Because they can fly.
Because they can fly. They're fucking
Okay.
great. They're like but you used to play the fish people, Dom. Their battle suits could jump in and out.
I played one game.
What?
The fish people.
The fish people.
Is that
Tau.
the
Tau.
Tau?
Oh.
I played one. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't even know I played them. I played the Imperials mainly. Tom showed this off.
Oh
which I
yeah,
think it's really sweet. Like that.
lovely stuff.
I do like
I
a
really
bit of
like that.
medieval.
Post medieval.
Post medieval. Definitely post medieval. Stig showed off this game that he had of Hail Caesar Crusade in 15 mil. That
Lovely.
does look great.
It does, doesn't it?
That's
I
15.
like what. Yeah, what I was looking at was the cabinets at the background with all the like the other stuff as well. I was like, wow,
I know what you mean. Jeez.
lovely work.
These were from Stephen. Again, you'll have to tell me what they are. 'cause
These
I have
are
no
Age of
idea.
Sigmar Stormcast Eternals, and they're very cool. And I like what he does because they're so colourful. They're not just a gold
Yes.
thing. And not that there's anything
Yeah.
wrong with that, but I just really like the.
He's
like,
the same. Did he do the hawks I showed off last week?
He did, yes.
Oh, yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. Really nice colours, really nice blending technique. Really nice.
Excellent. Our mate Leon showing off some of his
nice
Austrian
art.
cavalry.
Yeah.
Really sweet. I think he's
Well
done a
done,
video on this, so check it out. But
He must have a massive Austrian army by now. It's got to be huge.
I think from what he said, he'd slowed down quite a bit. He had a bit of a loss of mojo.
Yeah, but
I
still,
think
Jesus, he done a lot, didn't he?
he did do a lot. He did do a lot. What else we got? Steve, this is one of his massive battles. This is Barossa. So check out Steve's channel, Basement 1908. He's mad as a box of spanners. I love his videos; they're fantastic. he just has that passion of playing with toy soldiers. It's just brilliant, and he has a 16-foot by I want to say 6-foot table. And he puts on these massive battles. So it's just unbelievable.
Interesting fact, Steve's basement is bigger than where I live.
Fucking hell. Jesus
Brilliant
Christ.
stuff. I mean, he's gone absolutely bananas with his figure collection. It's
I was
super.
going to say that just the sheer amount of figures that he uses as well is just phenomenal. It's just unbelievable the amount that he uses.
He doesn't do anything by halves.
Oh God, no.
And we talked about this earlier, but Simon's Blood Bowl league that he's trying to run. So these were painted by his 10-year-old daughter. So
They're just
Amazonian team.
They are.
Yeah, I did see these. They're really cool, man.
Really, really good job. Love it.
I love
very
those.
cool.
And what I like is the vivid colours. That's how Blood Bowl should look.
Yeah,
definitely.
Completely agree.
That's a good idea, though. A Blood Bowl league. That is. I really do like the idea of that.
Yeah,
that's quite smart. Yeah, definitely. Very cool.
You asked for a pipe block. There you go.
Oh,
That's Carl.
yeah.
That's Carl. These are
15 mil.
I'm like, no, they're 28s, aren't they?
no, they're
no.
15. They are
they're
15.
Oh, I thought they
mil.
were 15. I thought my favourite thing about that was that Ken and Riley commented at Yorkshire going, "That's half a pipe block," and then they put up a photo straight afterwards where it was double the size.
Awesome stuff. They're lovely. Really, really good. And we have to congratulate Drew for his new arrival. Absolutely fantastic news, mate. I really like these samurais. Really good, mate. Oh, and the baby. And the baby.
Yeah, congratulations, mate.
Yeah, your arrival wasn't the samurai. It was.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get to paint some samurai for a very, very long time.
That'll be the last figures you'll be painting for a long time, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah, congrats, Drew.
Congrats. Huge congrats. Talked about badges and boroughs earlier on. Jason has been
he's
working his way through that lot. Jeez.
Look at that shield on that with that hair at the back there. Look at the red contrasting against the black and the white shading.
I really, really like the fox in the sort of middle at the bottom, on the lower.
I don't even. Oh yeah, with this. Yeah, these are the sort of figures you just want to look up close, isn't it? And just spend 5 minutes just taking it in and just really looking at them because they've all got individual quirks. So is that the Mouseketeer down the bottom there? That mouse?
No.
Which one am I looking at?
He might be up the top. There's there might have been Musketeer. No, it's not. That's the.
No, it's not. No. He's done a better job of my my priest mole over there. Jesus, look at that.
Well, he is a commission painter, so he really is.
Oh, okay.
He's a very good painter.
Yeah. Oh, fair play.
So these are Phil's Airborne, 15 mil again.
Nice.
Nicely done. I feel like we haven't said Yayo Group tonight, so we'll say Yayo Group. I don't know whether he's using them for that, but I don't know.
Yeah, you'll be contacted by Alex's legal representation.
I'm saying Flames of War.
Yeah.
Are you saying Flames of War?
I'm saying Flames of War, and I reckon the guy on the right is Dick Winters because that's how he looks in the 28 mil version of the special edition for the Warlord games.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that.
Give it a go. That if you like. Go on then.
There you go. Why not?
Mitchell was inspired by Martin's saga to.
I really like this.
Raise more scale. Yeah.
What snow? What Colombian special did you use?
No.
We need to know what Colombian special.
I just like how they look. They actually look like they're cold.
Yeah, they do look like they're cold, don't they?
They're
the skin's really.
It's just.
They haven't got a tan, basically.
No. I thought you were about to go on about their nipples or something. Then your nipples are
mate,
glass.
if you want to think about wet men's nipples, then you go ahead.
Oh
wet.
God, this
why are they
tonight's
wet?
Gone in a weird,
why are they
weird
wet?
way.
Why did he say wet? Why are they wet?
There was no need for wetness, thank you on that
why
one.
Are they? No. Why were they wet?
Let's move on to John's late Saxon archers.
Oh, nice.
Nice bunch there. Really good. I guess are they Victrix?
Hang on a second. Yes.
I think they are.
Yes, they are. They're the Dark Age
I wonder what game
archers,
system they're based for. They're bigger bases, aren't they?
They're on a big base, you're right.
I don't think, didn't he say?
Hey, I can't remember what he said.
The thing is, funnily enough, the Gripping Beast ones that when you buy the Dark Age archers, they actually have a base in about that size, considering they want them for most people have bought them for Saga. I guess at the time they were thinking about Sword Point.
Oh, we're in trouble. Listen, I think the lawyers will be in touch for a lot more than that tonight.
Yes.
And finally, for now, Miller. These are some of his objective markers.
This is for
bloody miniatures.
Yes, actually, remember at the bloody miniatures, there's a bonus one running, which is the Bloody Valentine. which so we've got a special one. So the OPC challenge, the bonus one, is basically just to get hold of some bloody miniatures and paint them. We're going to show them off on the stream on the day before Valentine's Day.
Nice.
So you've got your bloody Valentine coming up, and of course there is the OPC. So go over to the Facebook group and check out what they're running this month. I've forgotten what that is. I'm very, very sorry.
Wasn't it retro? Wasn't it? Or no?
I thought no. Isn't it the 2-month one they're doing because they're doing something a bit larger than life?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm sure they're in the chat. Come on, guys.
I'm sure someone will tell us. We're not involved in this one. It just happens around us. So yeah, that's our excuse. Anyway, thank you everybody for submitting your Facebook pictures. Really appreciate it. And remember, if you're not on Facebook, send us on email. Emails in the description down below. Please do. And while you're there, hit like and all that goodness, and make sure you subscribe to all our channels, please. Pretty please with cherries on. Much appreciated. Right, gentlemen, I think we're pretty much there. So who's on next week?
It's Steve next week. And the subject is
solo wargaming.
Woohoo! Yeah. Playing with yourself, lovely, fantastic. It's funny with that.
Talk about blatant misadvertising.
Solo wargaming in the fiddle yard.
You get fucking hell. You get fucking hell. Holy.
We've got to get the subscriber counts up somehow, for God's sake.
To be fair, I might take a picture of the fiddle yard next week.
Whoa!
Oh, steady. We don't need that.
Whoa!
This is escalation.
It's just a bus stop behind his house.
I can turn the lights off if you want. It's up to you. Just
Anyway, thank you everybody.
You have severely traumatized me tonight, mate. You know that.
Well, when you hear that heavy breathing, you hear some Darth Vader type breathing in the night. What's going to be worse? Do you know what's going to be worse? Is you're going to wake up in the morning, you're going to roll over, and just on your pillow there's going to be a single ginger hair.
No, there's not. There's going to be a French drummer just staring at him. Just when you first wake up, Steve, you're going to be looking at his French drummer. You're just going to.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Appreciate, as ever, your support. Thanks very much, guys, for joining.
We appreciate it if you come back.
Yeah, please come back.
Please come back. We'll see you next Monday on Steve's channel. Have a great week, everybody.
See you, everyone. Take care now.
Bye-bye.